So let's have a look at the two sides for you then today. Robinho is back for Manchester City, though his troublesome ankle injury was still giving him problems in training yesterday. Micah Richards also returns, and the apparently out of favour Elano gets his first league start since early November. Out go Ben Haim, Aman and Vassal. Benjani scored 3 in 7 games since his return from injury. Everton's striker crisis gets even worse. Victor Anichebe has failed a fitness test on a back injury and joins Yakubu, Sahar and Vaughan on the sidelines. That means Tim Cahill is deployed as an emergency striker with support from Marouane Fellaini. Midfield man Segundo Castillo from Ecuador makes only his first Premier League appearance since September. Manchester City in their famous sky blue getting us underway here, and pretty desperate to get a win. Only one win in the last 7 matches, and Everton with 5 away wins. Only Liverpool and Chelsea better on the road than them this year in the Premier League. There's an offside flag up here. A referee's seen it.
I think in many respects, Ian, I think that the way Everton set up with almost 5 across midfield and only 1 up top probably suits their game more away from Goodison. So I'm not really surprised that, you know, they have had good results. Won 5 of their 8 away games, which is a tremendous record. Drawn another one, so, you know, picked up a lot of points.
Lescott can't afford to take a chance there. Howard thought about coming, then seemed to stop, and Lescott got rid of it. Quite right too. Benjani scored after 6 minutes last week at Craven Cottage, but Manchester City couldn't hold on. Drew 1-1 in that fixture. Here's Stephen Ireland for them. Benjani's quickly made himself a crowd favourite at Manchester City, just as he was down at Portsmouth. He never really wanted to leave Fratton Park.
Well, I don't think he's a player that's going to get you a huge amount of goals, but I'll tell you why he does endear himself to fans is he works tremendously hard from the side. The fact that he's playing up top on his own.
Here is Benjani looking to link up with Ireland. Right, Phillips! Looked to be on its way. Lescott blocked it, maybe just as well.
Terrific block. Really was a fantastic block from Lescott, who really has been in good form of late. Everton
playing without any recognised striker, so they're having to make do and mend with Cahill looking to be the furthest forward, and he's got players who might buzz around him and get ahead of him to help out.
Well, it was the other end that they had to be at their best. That was a terrific strike from Sean Wright-Phillips. Certainly would have tested the goalkeeper if it hadn't been blocked by the Everton left back. A nice bright fast opening to the game.
Richard Dunn getting it away. 54 goals in Manchester City matches in the Premier League this season, and no other side can match that. Mark Hughes is looking for continued improvements in their defensive displays. Phil Neville's long throw towards Fellaini, and it comes out to Arteta.
Well, for him, that's a decent chance, because you'd certainly expect him to probably hit the target. He'll become a little bit too soon in the game for him. He hasn't had too many touches. It's David Moyes, like last week, has decided to play him more as a central midfield player. Osman and Pinar are the players who are playing wide. Very talented Spaniard.
Fellaini. Cahill couldn't make much of that. Arteta to Osman. Just given a bit of room to turn. He's still got it too, and gets a shot away, and he's not far away. That's terrific play from Leon Osman.
Well, he shouldn't have even had a sighter at that. Richard Dunn just drops away from him as he's taking good possession of the ball, Osman. It's a good first touch to get it under control, but you can see there Dunn just gives him some room just in front of him, shifts the ball to his left foot, just drags it slightly wide, but enough to worry Joe Hart in the City goal.
Richards with the header, then Ireland, helped forward by Company to Sean Wright-Phillips. Might be a problem here for Everton, who've only lost on the road against Arsenal and Wigan so far. 5 wins at West Brom, Stoke, Bolton, West Ham and Spurs.
Just looking at Robinho, and there's question marks about his fitness coming into this game. Got 6 minutes or so, he hasn't touched the ball yet.
Benjani looking to play that ball through.
Great block.
And Zabaleta was blocked on the way through and stays down, the Argentinian.
Well, Mark Hughes was talking about Zabaleta in these programme notes for today's game, saying how well the right back is emerging in terms of an attacking full-back, and we saw it last week against Fulham. Very nearly got a glimpse of it there. Lescott did very well, just covering around, making sure he blocked off the run of the Spaniard. This is an important block from Lescott. He seems to do very well, either as a centre-back or a left-back these days. Very consistent performer. We talked already about Stuart Pearce being here, watching 1 or 2 in the Man City and Everton camp, but Lescott might just be on his radar as well.
Looks like Zabaleta, who has 7 caps for Argentina and an Olympic Games gold medal as well. Recovery for him there. You're right, Robinho hasn't touched the ball in this opening phase of the game, not once.
Most unusual. Looking to obviously increase his tally, get into double figures. Too far short of that now, and certainly made himself a firm favourite with these Manchester City fans.
David Moyes, 6.5 years in the job now. He's going some in this league.
Well, he's done a fantastic job. I think everybody recognises that. Deliberated for a long while in terms of a new contract that he eventually signed recently. I think he just wanted the feeling that the club was going in the right direction.
Company did well there for Manchester City to win the ball. Here's Robinho's first touch. Didn't work for him. He's carrying this ankle injury, Robinho. Apparently he's 95% back to fitness, but there have been pain-killing injections in the past. He tries to find Benjani there. Apparently when he sprints at top speed there is still a bit of discomfort.
Well, sometimes you take a gamble on players, and he's probably one that's worth taking a gamble on, but I'm sure that they're monitoring the injections that they are giving him. I'll tell you what, that's why Cahill has probably been chosen to play up top, because he backs into people well, he's good in the air, he's just won his side a free kick in a very interesting position. You can see Michael Richards climbing all over him in search of trying to win the ball, and that's clever play from Cahill. He knows he's conceding height advantage against the likes of Richards and Dunn, and he just gets his body into the young centre-back.
And this might be one for Mikel Arteta, although Pinar's interested as well.
It's a shame they haven't got really a left footer, because that just maybe gives Joe Hart something else to think about. The 2 right footers that really are lining up for the strike. It looks as if Pinar might go at this with the left, but I doubt it. I think it's more Arteta as the favourite.
Real opportunity here for Everton to sneak ahead. It is Arteta! Oh, and he's hit the underside of the bar! Terrific effort, Fellaini with the header! It's the top of the bar! An incredible incident. The woodwork struck twice, but it somehow stays 0-0.
Well, big let-off. Great free kick from Arteta. Bends it towards the corner that Joe Hart's showing him. I mean, the keeper was certainly clambering, not once but twice. Fellaini probably should have done better, because for him, you'd have expected him to hit the target. You know, it's not a difficult header for Fellaini. He's not really having to reach too far up to try and convert that one that came back off the bar.
What a let-off for Manchester City. Zabaleta to Wright Phillips. Bit of a battle between those 2 England hopefuls over there. Wright Phillips against Lescott.
Will be a good battle. I think Sean Wright Phillips seems to be really enjoying himself since he's back at his old stomping ground.
Here's Elano. Nicely worked with Robinho. Good move. Here's Ireland! Wonderful chance, not taken, but the football from Manchester City there was brilliant.
Well, it's their best moment so far. It really was electrifying. The 2 Brazilians combining to open up Everton. You just look how tight it is, but their passing was very quick, accurate, and there's one player that you'd really want that chance to fall to. It would be Stephen Ireland. The goals that he's been scoring this season, gets himself in a terrific position. Benjani just stretching. That will have certainly tested his hamstring.
Well, he went for the roof of the net, and you wonder whether a low drive might have done the trick there for Stephen Ireland. He has scored 4 times in the last 6 games. You're right, Brian. Fell to the right guy.
I think he's been Man City's best player by far this season. That says something because Robinho has been very exciting.
City just beginning to find the thread. Benjani, Robinho! Wonderful save by Howard. Low to his right. The goalkeeper did wonderfully well there.
Well, he might not have seen much of the ball, Robinho. He very nearly had a telling moment in this game. The wonderful strike, equally matched by the save from Tim Howard. But at the moment, Everton are just affording Man City a little bit too much space and room. Benjani initially, and this comes to Robinho very quickly, and his first touch was fantastic. That set him up for the strike on goal. It was a smart save.
Everton have scored in 8 of their 9 away matches so far.
Well, the lack of strikers certainly going to test David Moyes' side in terms of whether they can get goals here today. Come close with the strike from Arteta, the free kick, and the follow-up header from Fellaini. Other than that, Joe Hart hasn't been troubled. Tell you what, Richard Dunn climbing all over the back of Fellaini. Not too many complaints from the Everton player. Fellaini's a real handful though. He's the obvious threat.
As Manchester United found when Everton played them, he's very, very tall. Arteta trying to swing this in somewhere under the bar by the look of things here. The way Everton are set up. Oh, Fellaini, free header! They completely lost him.
Well, it was interesting because Fellaini was screaming at the likes of Lescott and Cahill just to leave him alone. Give him 1v1 against Richard Dunn. So he's pushed a few players away. He gets that 1v1. Then he runs clever enough to get away from Richard Dunn. But unfortunately, his header again has missed the target. He's had 2 big chances already.
Segundo Castillo on that header for Everton. It is a makeshift sort of Everton lineup, certainly up front today. They're having to make do and mend, but they've got a strong work ethic. They won't worry too much about that, and they have threatened. Now companies, Manchester City though, are starting to ask some serious questions now. Cut and thrust, isn't it?
Well, they're almost just having to scramble the ball away at the moment, Everton. Should have been a free kick there on Tim Cahill. I think Mark Halsey was just seeing whether Everton had decent possession of the ball. Lescott eventually got caught as well over on that left-hand side, but I think that David Moyes' side just have to settle things down a little bit. I mean, they've had 2 good chances, but I think certainly in that midfield area, to get 1 or 2 more bodies making some challenges against the likes of Alano and Ireland in particular.
Pinar. I was hoping somebody had made a run into that area. They hadn't really. Not in tandem with the pass anyway. It's Pinar again. Good hold-up play by Cahill. Pinar to Fellaini, who is onside. He was close. Osman's in the middle. He goes down in the 6-yard box and claims that he was fouled by Michael Ball. Was he?
Well, Mark Halsey looked over to his assistant on this near side, because I don't think the referee can see that. You know, if Michael Ball has tugged him back and then clipped him, then really it's only the assistant that can make that decision. And David Moyes is absolutely furious down below us, and he isn't too far away from the linesman. It's a terrific ball from Fellaini. Really is testing towards the far post. Well, there's a coming together. And Michael Ball's got his arm across the shoulder of Leon Osman. Technically, if the linesman has seen that, then that's a penalty.
But does Osman go down rather easily as well?
Any contact now, players are going to go down.
Doesn't mean the ref, mean the ref has to give a penalty every time they try it, does it?
If there's contact, then, you know, that's a big decision that they have to make.
Ilano here, Robinho ahead of him. 2 Brazilians, it's Ilano! Good effort.
What a strike that was. Really was powerful. It's probably straight at the goalkeeper, Tim Howard, but it all stemmed from Fellaini giving the ball away. And Ilano was very quick to counter-attack.
Castellano again. Been a bright spark early on. Zabaleta. Benjani. Unceremoniously away by Phil Jagielka. He's another of those players who might be knocking on the England door a little.
He's been very consistent. Made a couple of mistakes last week, of course, it cost them against Aston Villa, but other than that, you know, he has been a model of consistency alongside Joseph Yobo.
Here is Jagielka. Yeah, Everton equalised on 91 minutes last week against Aston Villa and lost in the 94th.
Well, Stephen Ireland just picks Fellaini's pocket there. Nolano breaks very quickly. Robinho makes a decent run because he takes Yobo away.
Jagielka, diagonal, onside, Fellaini. Pinar's going to try to bend one, is he? No.
Well, a great shame because Fellaini got himself in a great position, just pulls away. I think Michael Richards may well be playing him onside. Pinar, who I think really, when you look at his ability, should be scoring more goals than what he does. I think that he's got the capabilities of at least being in double figures.
There is Stuart Pearce back at Manchester City, but this time wearing his England hat, really. No real under-21s for him to look at, but a few candidates for Fabio Capello, perhaps, like Joe Hart, the goalkeeper here.
Well, he's had a good season, hasn't he, Joe Hart? I think that there's talk, of course, of Buffon coming in from Juve. Whether that's going to happen, if it does it stop the growth and maturity of an emerging young goalkeeper? Only time will tell.
They might have problems keeping everybody happy at City if there's going to be the influx of players we believe there might be.
The price you pay for having a big squad and a quality squad.
Osman to hook one into a dangerous area on the near post. It was a good idea, and luckily for him there was nobody in a dark blue shirt there.
To be fair to David Moyes' side, they haven't been able to get forward that often, but when they have, they actually have looked threatening and they've created chances.
No, nothing going against down there. Here's Arteta. Pina, they've got a lot of clever players, and Arteta with room. Oh, he hit that so hard that Joe Hart couldn't even adjust his hands to stop it.
I can only think that he sees it late, you know, because it's almost a reactionary save as upon when the ball's upon him. It's a wonderful strike from Arteta. Really did catch it well. I think that goes through a lot of bodies, and Joe Hart sees it late.
In which case it was a terrific save. And he did just get a hand down, didn't he, in the end? Otherwise, that was it. I thought it had bounced off his chest first time I saw it. And the Everton fans with a byplay with Mark Halsey. Here's Arteta, bended in, and this time the punch of Hart, not that good a one, to be honest.
Well,
ball helps.
Fellaini's right in front of him, just making a nuisance of himself. Well, this really has been a terrific opening half hour. You know, we've seen chances either end, some good football from both sides. We've certainly seen some good goalkeeping. Tim Howard making a couple of good saves, and then Joe Hart really did come up with a terrific one-handed save. Sees it late, probably does a little bit in the air.
And Everton have the aerial ability here to be a real threat from this kind of thing.
They're right on top of the goalkeeper here as well.
Look at all those players there on the edge of the 6-yard box.
Sort that one out, Mr. Halsey, if you can. Bumping and barging. So difficult for the officials because, you know, you can see both sets of players are at it. A tug, a pull, a push.
If Arteta gets this right, it could be very difficult for City to deal with this. Flicked on the near post. That looked like a deliberate idea by Osman.
Whether he's spotted a push or an offside, not sure, the assistant on this near side. They've been in the thick of the action.
There's Phil Neville, who's been one of them, really. It's a poor ball really by Castillo, and City can break here. Robinho assesses the options, chooses Wright Phillips. He's short Wright Phillips, and he skipped the bar. Well, the woodwork's been struck 3 times now. Wright Phillips so close.
Well, that came about really through a poor pass from Castillo, and they don't really close Sean Wright Phillips down. Lescott just backs off, invites him to have a strike, and he's already had a couple of those so far. Tim Howard can't even get a touch to it.
Hasn't scored in the Premier League since that 6-0 rout of Portsmouth, Wright Phillips.
Well, he's back in form, and of course, when England played against Germany, he was as good a performer as anybody on that night in Berlin. Slightly frustrated, of course, when he got that big move to Chelsea. Didn't play anywhere near enough, and he's never going to play consistently, which is always very frustrating for any player.
Still Manchester City 0, Everton 0, but don't ask me how. It's nicely poised, this. 3 minutes to the break. It's been an entertaining first half in the main. Just a bit of anxiety, you feel, though, among the City fans. Now then, Benjani. Good ball, well picked. Wright Phillips again. Here's danger. Forced a bit wide, got a cross in anyway. There's a real box of tricks. Back to his best form, really, since he returned from Chelsea.
Well, it's just so difficult to play against. That's the problem, because you can go either side. You can strike from distance, as we've seen already, and very close to getting goals.
Pienaar nearly left the ball behind. Had to hurry his pass, that's why it fell to a City player. Ireland stayed down injured meanwhile, and that's why Robinho's put it out of play.
Well, as Pienaar went to make that pass to Philip Neville, he just caught Stephen Ireland, who was tracking back. Just caught him inadvertently. As you've said, Ian, we've had everything but goals in this first half. Some terrific football. We've seen the woodwork hit at both ends of the field. Good saves from both Joe Hart and Tim Howard. I think Mark knows the importance of this game. We've talked already about the fact that they've only won 1 of their last 7 league games, so they could do with 3 points just to settle them down. They got West Brom away, Hull at home, Blackburn away. Games where people will expect them to pick up points.
Yeah, they could potentially build a little momentum, but you say potentially in italics, don't you? Because it seems like everybody can beat everybody in this league outside the big 4.
Well, the difficulty that Manchester City have, of course, the expectations are so high. I'm not sure why, because they're still to spend money in the transfer market and still to support Mark in terms of what he's trying to do.
And Zabaleta, apart from the 32.5 million on Robinho, you mean?
Well, apart from that, yeah.
No, I take your
know
point.
what I mean.
I take your point in January.
Still a lot of business. I think, when Mark came into this club, you're just trying to pick off whatever signings you can bring in, because
Benjani couldn't quite get there with his volley. Just hustled out of it. Knocking on the door, Manchester City. Lescott wins the header. This January is going to be more than interesting at this football club. Lovely turn, beautiful work by Osman. He's technically so adept. Dunn hustled out of it against his old club. Castillo to Fellaini. Cahill. It's a good build-up. Osman towards Fellaini. Richards, lovely lead.
That's what he's very good at, Michael Richards. He had to be at his best there, because we know what a threat Fellaini is.
2 minutes of added time at the end of the first half. Now then, Lescott. Chance to get across in towards Fellaini, who couldn't quite reach it. Otherwise, Everton would have been in business. And they still might be, because here's Leon Osman. Fellaini! Oh, and well saved indeed by Joe Hart.
Well, they really have come close. That man in particular must have had, what, 4 opportunities in this first half? Well, that was a terrific, smart save from Joe Hart. Going down to his left-hand side, good strike. Had to really concentrate hard, Fellaini, to get the right sort of contact. That was an easy one to take on, but he made it look simple.
The goalkeepers have distinguished themselves at both ends. Here's Osman's corner now. Oh, flicked on by Lescott. It didn't find the roof of the net.
Clever ball, wasn't it, from Osman? Just flight, a delightful ball to the near post, cutting out Michael Ball, who's just in front of Jolie and Lescott. And he's another player, Ian, when you throw him forward, you expect him to score from those situations. We'll have another look at this smart save from Joe Hart.
Had to react very quickly, the young goalkeeper, and did so. Once of Shrewsbury Town, I should think they're proud of him.
Well, everybody looked at him, you know. Man City were the one that went out and put their money where their mouth was, and they've certainly had a good return so far on their investment.
What do they need Buffon for anyway?
There's a few people that would argue that point, but yeah, they say you need a good experienced goalkeeper, the spine to your side. Maybe that's something that Mark's trying to put together, but I just hope it's not at the expense of Joe Hart.
That's the last action of what was a good first half here. Plenty of incident at both ends. Arteta hitting the underside of the bar, Fellaini hitting the top of the bar, Sean Wright-Phillips hitting the bar at the other end for Manchester City, but it's goalless here at half-time. Well, the one thing that hasn't happened at Manchester City all season is a home draw, the only club in the Premier League where that hasn't happened. But no goals here at the moment between these two, but they should have been in the first half. And Joe is on at the start of the half. Remember, the striker in place of the injured Benjani.
Yeah, I think people are just going to have to be patient with Joe. I watched him a number of times when he was playing for CSKA Moscow last year, and he looked at a very good player alongside Wagner Love. But he's still young, still learning his trade.
Still adapting to the somewhat different, pacier, physical game in England, perhaps.
And he's not playing alongside another striker. The way that Man City do look to play, it's very much with one down the middle and sort of 2 wide.
Here's Cahill for Everton. Picked up by Elano. Manchester City electing to go long towards Joe. It's easily dealt with by Joseph Yobo. City who've won 4 and lost 4 so far here at the City of Manchester Stadium this season. They've scored 19 goals doing that, averaging 2.5 per game. Bound to be more chances, you'd think, at either end in this second half. Pienaar crowded out of it. Elano, lovely release ball towards Joe, who let that run to some effect.
Just about forced him out, didn't he? Phil Jagielka, good run from Joe, spinning away towards the left-back position. Phil Jagielka let him turn and run at him, but he stayed on his feet long enough to just see out the danger.
Chance of come on City from the home fans. They want that goal, but Everton resilient, well organised, streetwise. Finished in the top 6 in 3 of the last 4 seasons, Everton. Ireland. Elano. There's Richard Dunn. Good looking ball to Wright-Phillips. Early cross back, and it nearly fell to Elano, but not quite.
It was just a touch, the faintest of touches from Jagielka that just took the ball out of the path of an oncoming City player. Wright-Phillips, for me, is the one player for Manchester City that really has looked capable consistently of troubling this Everton side. think there's been one or two like Elano and Robinho and Ireland have shown up on occasions, but Wright Phillips in particular has been the one.
It's Fellaini who's looked dangerous. Pienaar goes to ground, gets the free kick.
There's a few by Zabaleta there. I just wonder whether he's in last chance saloon, because he's clipped Pienaar on 4 or 5 occasions and he's gone unpunished.
Pienaar was making that point to the referee. Never like seeing players do that,
no.
Try to get fellow pros booked. I know the thinking, but it still looks horrible. Osman, away by Dunn. Did players do that when you were playing, Brian? I don't remember.
No, I think it's more of something that has come in through the influx of foreign players in particular. It's something you see a lot abroad, and unfortunately it's becoming a disturbing part of our game here in this country. Although you can now yellow card a player for sort of signalling to the referee for another player to be booked. So, you know, it's up to the referees then to adhere to that law, and then you'll probably sharply cut it out.
Dunn. Strong and sharp there. Ireland takes over. Can't quite find Joe. He's got a chance to re-establish himself a bit at City in this second half. Fellaini, strong, tall, isn't he, the midfield player?
He's a real handful, whether he's playing up top or in midfield.
Pienaar towards him. That came off Dunn's boot, but luckily it just bounced nicely for Joe Hart in goal.
It was probably an important touch, wasn't it, from Richard Dunn, but it gives City a chance to get at the other end.
Ireland, Wright Phillips, who's looked menacing so far. Philip Neville, Ireland on the volley. Neville's clearance wasn't the most convincing, and neither was that one. Now ball. City trying to build up a bit of a head of steam here. Not like that though. Pienaar was the pickpocket. Ireland again, it's a bit narrow. Elano. Easy for Lescott.
This is where Everton have done quite well. When they have broke up attacks, they've kept the ball reasonably well. It's so important when you're only playing one up front.
Good possession football from Everton. There was a foul in the build-up there. The referee belatedly has given it, but free kick it was, and he's let them play straight on here. And he's gone to Leon Osman, who's a bit surprised to get it that early, but the referee now is pulling back the play, and I think he wants it retaken again.
I think most people in this stadium are slightly unsure in terms of what Mark Halsey did or did not do there.
Well, I thought he'd let them play on, didn't you?
Well, he seemed to look without blowing his whistle again, but I think this is Zabaleta again. I mean, I'm not sure whether there's that much contact, to be fair to the fullback, but Stephen Pienaar going to ground.
He's kept the yellow cards in his pocket, all right, Mark Halsey today.
That's what you see. You want to see that, don't you? It hasn't been a dirty, nasty, vicious game.
This is not long towards Fellaini, and it was Cahill who finally got the little header on it.
Well, they're two decent players to hit the ball too, really, aren't they? Both very powerful in the air. They both proved a handful against Manchester City during the course of the afternoon. You can sense the frustration now with Manchester City fans, and that will probably transpire to the players, and that's something that they don't want at the moment or can afford to have. Everton really are coming on strong at the moment.
Neville, Fellaini! Oh, and just nicked away by Zabaleta, with Cahill waiting to pounce.
Well, it looked odds on. Either Fellaini or Cahill would score. Zabaleta gets a terrific touch here. Fantastic ball from Neville. Such a difficult one to deal with, and if Zabaleta doesn't get a touch, then that's the goal that Everton deserve, because they really have carved out more chances than the home side here this afternoon.
Really good piece of defending by Pablo Zabaleta there. He needed to be cool, and he was. Arteta chipping it up. looking a little uncertain, but Wright Phillips with pace to burn, but not quite enough to beat Tim Howard to it. It's away by Yobo. Not long. Cahill giving as good as he gets against those big Manchester City defenders. Ireland to break onto this. Promising here. Stephen Ireland! And the goalkeeper did get something on it.
It doesn't quite get enough pace behind his strike, Stephen Ireland. But he hasn't been able to get into these areas that often. It's a terrific first touch. It gives Jagielka a problem because he doesn't want to go near the ball because he knows he's got Robinho to contend with as well. And it was an important save from Tim Howard. He had to go down smartly to his left-hand side.
Would have gone in. Fellaini coming in useful at the back as well with that height. Ball. Osborne got it away. Pressure from Manchester City. Just trying to whip up a storm here. Wright Phillips. Headed out of his own goalkeeper's arms by Cahill. Bit of a misunderstanding that.
Well, you get the feeling Tim Howard shout for that ball. Everybody else stepped away apart from Tim Cahill. He wasn't going to take any chances. This is a better spell of pressure though from Manchester City, and they've needed this.
The decibel level rises around the city of Manchester Stadium. Wright Phillips plays it in. Joe didn't quite win the header. It seemed he must at one point.
Well, I don't think he really goes at this with any real intent. Seems to go past Fellaini, which has been unusual because he seems to have won most things, Fellaini. You can see almost Joe just backs away from it.
There isn't that much time around out there. Arteta was quick in there, and Castillo did well too. Fellaini passing it on to Arteta. Very good possession football under pressure from Everton. Pienaar, Fellaini, looking to turn on it, still might get a bite, no.
He's unlucky to the two centre-backs to just about deal with it.
He's been an interesting addition to the Premier League, hasn't he, this Marouane Fellaini?
He gives him something different, you know, whether it's a holding midfield player or a player that likes to get forward from midfield. He's played just off the striker today, and he really has been a handful for Manchester City to deal with.
Now here is Robinho. We haven't seen much of him, but it only might be one moment that's required of him. And if that happens, the gamble to play him will have paid off. It hasn't so far, to be fair. And it does look, I don't think we're being unfair, are we, that it was a bit of a gamble.
Well, sometimes you have to take that gamble if you're wanting to win games, and he is a match winner.
It's gone out of play. And the big clock in the corner of the ground is now telling us that we're inside the last 10 minutes.
Well, I think Mark Hughes is about to throw on an attacking option. Darius Vassell is warming up and ready for action.
Had a bit of pace to the proceedings,
well, he needs to change it, I think, because they've looked a little bit lacklustre. Other than Sean Wright Phillips, there hasn't been too many that have shown up in a particularly good attacking sense for Manchester City, and that's a real disappointment, especially when you're at home.
Left out of the starting lineup today, Darius Vassell. And is it going to be Robinho who comes off? It is. Don't think he is properly fit. I have to say it was very much a walk-on role today for Robinho.
He's almost limping off in the end, which is a great shame to see, but probably had an injection maybe before the game. The effects possibly wearing off now, and he's beginning to feel the pain.
Difficult balancing decision they have to take with him, really, that for as long as the injury persists. We just have to hope it clears up. Busy Christmas programme coming up as well. Managers will have one eye on that as well. Now, Joe did well to fade that on towards Vassell.
Yobo's quick as well. There'll be a decent battle if they do get themselves 1v1.
Zabaleta. It's going to be an Everton free kick for Joe's challenge. Are Manchester City heading for their first home draw of the season?
Well, it looks like it. I mean, they've gone 4-4-2 now. I think Lorno going to play wide on the left-hand side. Sean Wright-Phillips on the right, and Vassell will join Joe down the middle. I think Joe needs that little bit of extra support. Problem is, he's struggling for confidence. I'll tell you what, if Everton do draw this, they'll feel that they've missed a big opportunity. When you think of the chances that they have had here this afternoon, this has been as good a away performance as I've seen from anybody this season so far.
Arteta. There's been a confidence about Everton really from the word go. But football has this habit, doesn't it, of producing late drama. Fellaini to Osman. Took a deflection. It's going to be a City throw. I have to say the game's just disappointed a little in the second half, Brian.
Yeah, we had a good first half. I'm saying that the only thing that was missing was goals. Second half started brightly enough, but really has faded dramatically.
Both sides struggling to carve out anything clear-cut in the closing stages. Sar will chase this, but Yobo was there. Shouldn't really be a problem for Howard. Vassell, with his fresh legs, will chase everything that moves.
Well, he just made them hurry a little bit, didn't he? Between Jagielka and Tim Howard. He's got the pace to do that, of course, Vassell.
Micah Richards. Ireland. On towards Wright-Phillips.
Good play again from Sean Wright-Phillips. It looked as if he was going down a blind alley there, but he's somehow managed to work his side a corner. Quality seems to be, or needs to be, a lot better than what we've seen, though.
He's been City's star man by quite a long way today, Sean Wright-Phillips. This is his corner kick. And it's amazing these days, what happened to that old tactic where the attacking side got somebody in on the near post, looked to flick it on? People don't seem to try that anymore, except Hull, they do.
Everton did in the first half, and Les got nearly scored, remember? But really the delivery's been poor towards that near post.
It's a better looking one, and Joe with the header, which drifts wide. That was a presentable opportunity late on.
Well, it was. He'd be disappointed that he hasn't worked the goalkeeper there. You know, just climbed very well, good power, fending off a couple of defenders, and then really just needs to try and direct his header better. It's probably his best moment so far since he's come on as a sub. Well, there's a lot of gaps appearing now in the City of Manchester Stadium. There's a lot of fans of the Manchester persuasion probably giving up this game now.
I think you and I have watched, and in your case played in too many games to ever take anything for granted, because you leave a stadium earlier, you get home and you find there were 2 goals in the last minute or something, and you wonder why you ever paid to go in.
Just ask the fans that might have been at Goodison Park last weekend.
Not that we did pay to go in, of course. Here is Arteta. Fellaini brought it down on the chest. Cahill's waiting in there, so's Osman. Here's Pinar as well. Can Everton steal it late? Fellaini. No, Richards wins the header. It comes down to Castillo. Segundo Castillo. No. Now then, City on the break. Wright-Phillips. Big roar around the stadium. Vassell ahead of him. Ireland arriving. And deeper still is Ilano on this side. They've got players in there. And it's an uncertain punch that by Howard. It didn't cross the line, and for a minute there you wondered if it was going to.
Well, he very nearly made an almighty mess of this, Tim Howard. when the ball came in from Milano. I'm not sure why he's gone to punch, and then he catches the ball. He gets a little nudge in the back. If anything, the referee's probably going to give a foul on the goalkeeper by Vassell. There's a big claim that he took the ball over the line, but that's what I can't understand, why he didn't catch the first one, because he gives himself unnecessary problems.
It was almost an act of Olympian gymnastics, really, by Lescott on his line to make sure he didn't carry the ball over. That could have been a horror story for the American goalkeeper. Done with the header away. Fellaini from long range. I'm sure he's thinking at this point, why not?
Ambitious more than anything else, but take nothing away, his overall performance has been truly outstanding.
Zabaleta. Vassell in towards Ireland, who goes down on the edge of the box, and Mark Halsey is not interested.
I'll tell you what, Arteta had a little nibble there at Stephen Ireland. Not sure how much contact was made there, but he's not best pleased, is he, the Manchester City midfielder? Clever little layoff. Well, does Arteta catch him?
If he did, it was outside, wasn't it?
Oh, definitely. I wouldn't have said for one moment it was a penalty. I do think there may well have been a bit of contact, though.
All 150 meetings between these sides in the league have been in the top flight. There hasn't been a draw with Manchester City at home since 1985, 23 years ago. It's heading that way at the moment, unless there's late drama. Zabaleta is fouled by Fellaini. Now, is this the first yellow card with the clock saying 89 minutes? It is.
It is. He can have no complaints, Fellaini. He knows exactly what he's doing there. How many yellow cards has he's got this season?
Well, he's not over the top yet in terms of a suspension.
Well, this is the one earlier where City were claiming they should have had something.
Get back, says Mark Halsey, as Manchester City try to poach a couple of yards. Late pressure from Manchester City. Played up towards Dunn, who won the header.
I'll tell you what, he did well to win the header. He's under pressure from 4 Everton players there.
2 minutes of added time. That would have been a story, wouldn't it? Richard Dunn scoring against his old club. Left them 8 years ago now for $3 million to come here.
Certainly would have been smash and grab, because I think Everton have enjoyed the lion's share of chances.
Well, the fans are on their way home. They've accepted they're not going to see a home win, or they think they're not anyway. City do grab one, they won't see it. Castillo, it might be Everton, because Cahill was waiting to grab it, but that's going to go for a corner, nothing Joe Hart can do.
I'll tell you what, there's a few fancy their chances in this Everton side, because they're bombing forward, they want to get on with it quickly.
Well, they lost it late, didn't they? Very late against Villa last week. Are they going to steal it late this week? Cahill! Yes, they are! Everton win it right at the death. City are absolutely stunned and shell-shocked, but Tim Cahill has won it for Everton, surely.
Well, when games are tight, sometimes you need to be at your best from set pieces. And we've just seen a wonderful leap from Tim Cahill, and a great header as well. Just look at the cluster of players. That is very difficult there. And he rises majestically, and that's against Micah Richards as well. They don't have anybody on the post on that side, Manchester City, and they pay the price. Because once that header is directed towards that corner of the goal, there's no defender to deal with it. There's no foul. Terrific, well-guided header. And I tell you what, you wouldn't deny Everton 3 points, because they've created the best chances, they've been the better side in possession, and they've been the most threatening side right through the course of the afternoon.
What a bonus for David Moyes. With all his strikers out injured, he played Cahill furthest forward. He's the one who's come up with the goal, ending a little drought that had gone back to September. But wait a minute, it's Ilano here, trying to get it level. Vassell as well. He goes down in the penalty area. Well, Everton hearts in mouths after what happened last week.
Well, he seemed to take an eternity, Alano. I mean, he did the first bit very well and got himself a chance, and they're claiming that Castilla there fouled Darius Vassell. Well, he take a chance. We talked about it already during the course of the afternoon. You know, when you're leading into players or you're looking to make challenges like that in the penalty box.
Well, it has been a very good performance this from Everton. They're nearly there. But remember, they thought they'd rescued a point in stoppage time last week, and Villa came back to nick a goal and beat them. But City are almost out of time here. Surely Lightning's not going to strike twice. David Moyes is signalling to the referee that he thinks the time's been played. They're beseeching Mark Halsey to blow his whistle, and he does, and Everton have a 6th away win. Boos from the City fans. Not a good day for Mark Hughes one way and another. Manchester City now only 5 points out of the last 24. Tim Cahill has stolen it late for Everton. What drama right at the finish. Good performance from Everton. Their travelling fans really enjoyed that. Difficult times now at City. It's Manchester City 0, Everton 1.
Well, David, at 89 minutes, I was going to ask you the question if you felt 2 points had been dropped here today.
Well, I would have come away thinking that we'd played very well. I'd have probably gone away with a point quite happily. But when we got the goal, I've got to say, I thought we deserved it. I thought we played well enough to get it. I mean, I'm sure Manchester City will be disappointed they didn't get something from the game. But in the end, we coped. They had the odd chance, but you're always going to get that when you come up against, Robinho and Sean Wright-Phillips and Alano. So I thought we coped well and we caused them problems.
Well, Mark, Everton feel they deserve the 3 points there. Is that a fair assessment, do you think?
Well, I don't know about that. I think we've created chances. We've hit the bar in the first half. Obviously, I mean they set their stall out over the years. Obviously, they've had numerous 1-0 wins, won games at the death, and they're going to be strong and get people behind the ball and knock it long and try and force the issue and get players forward from midfield, and that's what they did. Obviously, Tim Cahill in the penalty box, when balls are coming into your box, you have to mark him properly, and unfortunately at the end we didn't do that and got done with the sucker punch. So we're disappointed, obviously, because we felt it wasn't a game that we deserved to lose, albeit in the end we didn't really do enough to possibly win the game ourselves, but certainly to lose at the end was a little bit hard to take.
You looked at picking your team today with no strikers, no recognised strikers. Tim Cahill did a great job, didn't he, up front?
Great job, and at times there was 4-6-0, and at times there was other players there. So it can be hard to play against at times as well. But I thought we done really well. I thought Tim Cahill put on a great job of doing several different positions, and he done really well.
Tim, can you believe you've won that game?
Yeah, of course we can believe we won our game. I suppose limited chances and things like that, but I suppose with hard work and the lads showing great character to work for each other, I think that's the special recipe that we've got here, and something that, after the other night against Aston Villa, we can pick ourselves up and put ourselves amongst it again.
Manchester City suffering their 5th home defeat of the season. They've won only 1 of their last 8 in all competitions.